It is game day as the Carolina Hurricanes head to the Rock to take on the New Jersey Devils. Carolina heading into this game 21-12-2 as New Jersey heads in 23-11-3 into this massive matchup. As we do take a look at the numbers, the New Jersey Devils with the second best power play in the NHL, 31.2% so far through the season, and Carolina coming in with the second best penalty kill in the league at 85.5%. So look for that matchup to be a big factor in tonight's game. I have a feeling special teams is going to play a massive role in this, but I'm going to pass it over to you guys. One last stat, before I do pass it over. New Jersey, number one in goals against with a 2.46. That's going to be also another big number. Can Carolina capitalize struggling 5-on-5 offensively? But I'm going to pass it over to you guys. What are you seeing from these numbers?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think the special teams are going to play a big part in this game. I mean, New Jersey plays so well at home too. If you look at the overall record against us historically, they have a winning percentage over us. So they play well at home. They don't play as well on the road. So I think having those two factors, Canes are going to have to play discipline. They're going to have to stay out of the box, because the Devils will get you. They will. They got so much talent, and we'll talk about the three guys to take a look at. But I mean, all those guys I believe are on the power play. So it's just one of those things that we got to stay out of the box. And if we do that, I think we'll be okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that one of the big things too is just starting on time, playing 60 minutes. It's been hard to come by with the Canes for the past couple weeks is them putting together a full 60. So, I think if they can do that, they have a good chance of, winning the game, but they got to play a full 60 minutes. They can't take time off or breaks or whatever in the middle of the game because they will make you pay. So,
yeah, for sure. And three players that we do want to take a look at, the three players to look at for New Jersey. Jack Hughes, Jesper Bratt, and familiar face Dougie Hamilton. Hughes and Bratt tied for the team lead in points with 45. Bratt leading the way in assists with 31 assists. Nico Hischier, who's not listed on this, does lead them with goals at 16 goals on the season so far. But taking a look at these three guys, they are all on their top power play unit. What's going to be the key to shutting them down? Because as we talked about with the New York game, their power play can be very movement focused and very quick. And with these three guys, unfortunately, if they're quick and they're moving it around quickly, they're going to create opportunities. So what does Carolina have to do to stop that?
I think you got to get on them quick. You can't let them get started. And I think that's where our forecheck is going to be so crucial against guys like this. Even Dougie, Dougie's one of those guys that if you give him time and space, he'll make a good play, but at the same time, if you don't give him that time and space, he's going to turn the puck over. I mean, we've seen it. We've got experience with it. So I think that's the biggest thing is just getting in their face early and getting to our forecheck early. Because if we don't, Hughes and Bratt, these two guys will just absolutely eat you alive. And Jesper Bratt he's one that I really hadn't looked a lot at over the years, but man, I tell you what, he is, for some reason this year, he's having a hell of a year, and he's so quick, so good, so agile. But again, get on them early and don't let them get started because they'll make you pay.
Yeah, and especially on the power play too. I mean, those three guys are the staple for the first line power play. So, they're basically scoring one out of every three. So the Canes just need to make sure they stay out of the box for sure, which is obviously easier said than done. So yeah, these guys will definitely make you pay. They can score off ozone pressure. They can score off dump and chase. They can score off the rush. I mean, they can do it all. So it's, it's going to have to be best on best, and the Canes best is going to have to be better. So the top line needs to show up. That's for sure.
Yep, for sure. And speaking of some of those top line players, let's take a look at the three players for the Canes to watch. First is Seth Jarvis. I think we need to see more out of him. I don't think we've seen his best as of late. 9 goals, 12 assists, 21 points through 27. Jack Roslovic, who is tied for the lead in goals for Carolina, has 14 on the season. Would like to see him shoot the puck more. And then Brent Burns, still don't think we've seen the best Brent Burns as of late. Looking to get more out of him and need to get more out of him, especially with us struggling 5-on-5 offensively. So I'll pass it over to you guys. What do you guys want to see out of these three guys?
I think you nailed it. They just have to they have to perform. And I think Like he's struggled here the last handful of games, and I think, and I think we mentioned it last time. I think we need to split maybe him and Aho up and see what happens, and get some energy going, because I think when he played with Stahl and Martinook, and there was some chemistry there. There was some battle. There was some compete. He just doesn't seem to have it right now. And Roslovic is just like you said. He's just got to shoot the puck, because when the puck is on and off his stick quickly, he's lethal. He doesn't seem to miss very often. And Burns, he's got to start playing like he did early in the season. He's a super high end skilled guy, but he just got to get going again. And I guess it's easier said than done, but for sure, I think the key of these three is Jarvis, and he's got to get rolling again, because if he doesn't get rolling, we're in a world of hurt.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely does for sure. And I think it's been tough for, I think the team as a whole. Just I feel like every game there's just a blender of lines. So it's just constantly like, if it doesn't work in one period, Rod's changing the lines up immediately. He's kind of not letting it really develop a whole lot, which, like, I'm all for, like, hey, if it's one game and you kind of throw a grenade in it just to see kind of if other guys can have some chemistry. But it feels like it's every game the lines are getting changed and changed and changed. It's like guys can't really get comfortable with their line mates. And I know it's one of those where it's like, well, you're on a team with guys that you spend however many hours in the week with. You should know what tendencies one guy has versus the other. But it's all a comfort thing with lines. So I hope that there can be some solidity in the lines a little bit. You hope if the Canes can come out with a win, then they can have that solid line pairing that they really need for all these guys. I mean, Burns obviously is with Slavin the whole time, so that's the only positive with the D, is they don't change the D pairings ever, no matter what. So even if the guys have a off
A
night or
terrible week,
whatever,
they
it
never
is what it
change 'em.
is.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, they don't change them anyway. So, which again can be a good and a bad thing. I'd like to see them change them every once in a while, but either way, yeah. I mean, they just guys need to step up. Like, big guys need to play, and if they don't play, I mean, the Canes are gonna lose this one pretty bad. So
Yep. And speaking of players that I feel like have stepped up as of late, we're going to look at the starting goalies. In net for Carolina should be Pyotr Kochetkov, 19 games played, 14-6-0 with a 9.03 and a 2.43 goals against. And I suspect he will be taking on Jacob Markstrom. We're going to see both goalies, both Tokarski and Kochetkov, and both Allen and Markstrom, just depending on which game of the 2-game set that we see each one of them. But if it is these two guys, Markstrom will head into the game with a 26 games played, 18-6-2, the best record in the NHL so far, a 9.12 and a 2.12 goals against, best goals against in the NHL as well too. So what are we seeing? What's going to be the key to solving Markstrom, and how are we going to make sure that Kochetkov maintains his confidence? Because there are certain games where I feel like he just doesn't have it, where other games he has a ton of it.
Yeah, I'll talk to Markstrom. I think we just need to get to the dirty areas in front of the net and make his life miserable, because I think the last time, we played him, I believe we won the game,
4-2.
but we made it sort of easy on him. But I think for a guy like Markstrom, when you take his vision away, he's a big goaltender. He can look around, but you got to get in there. You got to make him think about, okay, who the hell's coming next, and you got to get there and cause havoc and chaos. And Carrier has got to be Carrier in front of the net. He's got to get there and make his life miserable, and get him thinking about it. Because once you get him thinking about it, then we've seen Jacob Markstrom be an okay or average goaltender when people do that. So, I think the kid's just got to have a great game too. I mean, it's going to have to be a number one game. He's going to have to win the battle, and then pure and simple. He's got to play and be in every game, every shift, every save. He's got to be there and be focused. And if he does that, and we can get to Markstrom, we'll be just fine.
yeah, I mean, it's just about, he just has to play better than Markstrom. He's got to make one more save than Markstrom does. That's really it. So if he can play like he did in New York against the Rangers, I think the Canes will be all right. So it just depends. Some nights you see you know, him like with New York, he obviously lets in one early, but comes back.
Outside of
So
that one, it's near perfection, and then there's other games
yeah,
where he lets
outside
in
of
2
that is, I mean,
sweepers.
outside of that, he's pitched a
Yeah.
shutout. If that shot doesn't go in, I don't know what would get past him in that game. But like I said, he just has to outplay him. The Canes have to outplay as a whole. You know, if the Canes don't play good in the D zone and they give up too many grade A's, I mean, Bratt and Hughes are going to tear you up. So you hope the guys in front of him can play well too, for sure, because that'll definitely help him out, make his life
The
easier.
big thing with Markstrom, he does let up a lot of rebounds, so making sure that we are net front and making sure we are driving the net's going to be vital in this massive Metro Division matchup. And speaking of it being a massive Metro Division matchup, let's take a look at the standings as the Devils leading the Metro currently and Carolina in third in the Metro. So this is going to be a big 4-point swing, well, really 8-point swing coming out of the weekend. So hopefully Carolina can take all 8 of those points. But looking at these, looking at the standings, this could be a massive jump for Carolina, especially possibly over Washington, possibly over New Jersey, all in the span of 2 days.
Yeah, the big all these Metro games are going to be huge, anyways, and I think this one even more so because of who we're playing, and and we got a handful, I guess 4, 5, 6 games in hand on them, so it makes it that much more critical to take these points away from them. Because they have fewer games left in their schedule than we do. So it's going to be critical. Honestly, I think we're going to look back at this point in the season with these kind of games and these divisional games, and not taking points in these games is going to be prove to be a detriment if we don't do it long term. I think down the road. So if we take both games, great. I think we're setting ourselves up for a good run at the end of the season.
Yeah, no, I think I do like the home and home kind of with the same teams. Both teams are doing the same thing. They're both traveling. They both have back-to-backs, So it makes it a little bit more of an even matchup. It's tough when one team's coming off of a 3-day break and the other team's coming off a back-to-back. It kind of makes it a little bit more difficult to say, how the game's going to go. So, yeah, I mean, the Canes, if they can get this, this point swing in their favor, with 3 games in hand on New Jersey, I think that's huge for sure. So, but you just have to, we wait and see. At this point, we just wait and see what team decides to show up. So that's really what we're waiting on right now.
Yep, this is going to be a massive Metro swing and during this back-to-back. So that'll be Carolina and New Jersey at the Prudential Center Friday night. New Jersey will head to Carolina Saturday night, and we will have a pregame preview for that one as well. But as we always say, let's go Canes.